a.m. and here are our top stories in 90 seconds.
We didn't understand what was going on because none of us have ever seen a tornado here.
A family farm still trying to pick up the pieces after a tornado last month.
We lost, I don't know, like 40, 50,000 maybe.
Now the community is coming together to show their support, and we hope you can too.
We've never asked anybody for anything, and it's even weird for us to ask, to donate, but so many people want to.
Staffing shortages are taking a toll on 4th of July plans.
It makes us have to kind of get creative and look for other outlets.
The fireworks at Elitch Gardens are canceled, and airlines are canceling flights left and right.
Everything we had planned for tonight and tomorrow, that's gone.
Tonight, we're helping you navigate the 4th of July holiday weekend. Another condo complex is evacuated in South Florida over safety concerns. This as a hurricane now has its sights set on the state.
We don't know exactly the track that it's going to take. It is possible that we could see tropical force winds.
And Colorado is going through a crime wave.
People are frightened and they're demanding that we do something.
And this comes as police departments are quickly losing officers.
How do you deal with the morale issues?
They're pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie.
Good Friday evening, and thank you for watching Denver7 News on Local 3. I'm Jessica Porter. Well, we hope you're having a great start to your 4th of July holiday weekend. The small town of Platteville in Weld County will be spending its 4th of July giving back to a family farm. The Miller family farm suffered thousands of dollars in damage from a tornado that hit Weld County a month ago. Now the family farm that has helped so many across our state is in need of some help itself. Denver7's Eddie Guajardo visited the farm in Weld County and has our top story tonight.
Miller Farms is a household name in the farming community.
We grow basically any sort of vegetable that can grow in Colorado.
It's been in the family 3 generations, dating back to 1949.
Sweet corn, potatoes, squash, cucumbers, onions.
A family-run business Melissa Miller plans to continue to help feed Coloradans and those in need.
We grow extra produce just to feed people who either are struggling or to go to food banks.
And local chefs.
They have given back so much.
Tajai and his wife Danielle Cook rely on donated vegetables to help feed people in need of a hot meal.
Together we fed over 10,000 individuals across Colorado within the last 2 years.
But now the farm that's put food on the table for decades needs help. Recovering from the damage Mother Nature caused on June 7th.
When the tornado touched down, it tore out crops, damaged a combine, and picked up 2 trailers and sent this one specifically flying into their neighbor's property, wedging it between 2 trees.
Those are pretty expensive, and that will need to be replaced, and so will the other trailer that we use to haul grain. And the combine will either have to repair it.
She estimates the damage upwards of $50,000.
We've never asked anybody for anything, and it's even weird for us to ask, to donate, but so many people want to.
Family and friends have rallied together to help keep their locally run farm alive and help raise money to replace the damaged farming equipment.
We're just here doing our part because we love farming and we don't want to do anything else, so we want that to continue for years.
Eddie Guajardo, Denver7.
2 local chefs are hosting a barbecue fundraiser on the 4th of July. Their goal is to help raise $10,000 to help replace farming equipment destroyed by that tornado. If you can't make it to the barbecue, you can make a tax-deductible donation on thedenverchannel.com. Click on the Denver7 Gives tab and click Donate Now. Under the Denver7 Gives tab, select Help for Miller Farms. If you're planning for a staycation this holiday weekend, be prepared for some company on the roads. Though this evening we saw traffic flowing smoothly along I-70 in the foothills. But as always, keep your ears open for crashes or mudslides as they can throw a wrench in your plans in a hurry. If you're planning to head out of state, you'll want to keep an extra close eye on your flight status. There were dozens of canceled flights today at DIA. So what's going on? Well, flight experts say it's a combination of the demand for the holiday weekend and labor shortages among many of the major carriers. There are simply not enough pilots, flight attendants, or ground crews. We caught up with travelers who were quite frustrated.
We're just trying to visit my daughter in Lexington. That's all we're trying to do.
Sucks to be stuck here for a whole night.
trying to figure out how to get somewhere on a holiday weekend.
As frustrating as it might be to be booked off a flight or bounced off a flight, I'd rather have that happen to me than have a pilot who is too tired to be safely flying my plane.
And the shortages aren't just a holiday weekend thing. Experts expect cancellations to happen all summer long. They also say try to book flights earlier in the morning. There are fewer labor issues because it is the start of a new day. Elitch Gardens has canceled its fireworks extravaganza because of the worker shortage. Families are understandably disappointed.
I mean, it's everything. It's a summer crutch. It's something to do. It's an activity we could always plan on. It's an expense. That's one thing that we could do for the whole summer. It's everything for us.
It's a little disheartening because I know that we'd like to see a show. We'd like to see maybe the park fuller with more staff, so that way there's more attractions and more things to do, but I think we're at a good start.
Well, the folks at Elitch Gardens didn't want to talk on camera, but sent us a statement reminding everyone they are still hiring for just about every available position. Pay starts at nearly $15 an hour. Elitch Gardens will be open regular hours on the 4th of July. There's a good chance that one of your neighbors will be setting off fireworks this weekend, and there's also a chance you are that neighbor. So know this, if it leaves the ground, if it's something that explodes, you aren't allowed to have it. That's your average firecracker, bottle rocket, Roman candle, or cherry bomb.
But there's definitely fire dangers here. There's also the problem with pets. Pets really don't like the fireworks. And we have several people, elderly and people with PTSD here in town, and this upsets them greatly.
Just as important, don't call 911 to report fireworks. Instead, call the emergency line at your local police department or sheriff's office. And we have you covered on the denverchannel.com. There you'll find a list of legal fireworks shows happening across the Front Range. New tonight at 8, residents at a condo building in North Miami Beach have been ordered to evacuate over unsafe conditions. Unsafe structural and electrical conditions were discovered as part of a review of all high-rises above 5 stories high in the area. This comes as crews in Surfside, Florida are preparing to demolish a condo complex that partially collapsed last week. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
As search teams return to the rubble, the death toll climbing, and a heart-wrenching discovery. Rescue workers finding the body of a 7-year-old girl, the daughter of a firefighter on scene.
It's very difficult, and last night was even more, when we're removing a fellow firefighter's daughter. And that's just where I want to emphasize the emotion.
The girl's father had been helping with search and rescue efforts since the building came down. We're told he placed a small American flag next to her body, taking off his firefighter's jacket and draping it over her as she was carried through 2 single-file lines of first responders. Meanwhile, the death toll climbing. Overnight, vehicles from the medical examiner's office on hand. This as officials now moving forward with plans to demolish the rest of the building, even as the search continues.
This was not a decision we made lightly. Bringing it down as quickly as possible is critical to protect our community. Our top priority remains search and rescue.
Florida officials now monitoring the tropics. The possibility of strong winds and rain could force them to suspend the search in the coming days. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Miami Beach, Florida.
It's heartbreaking. Thank you, Morgan. Well, there have been many side effects of the pandemic. One of them is more opportunities for crime. Here's Denver7 investigative reporter Jennifer KOVALESKI.
Violent crime is up statewide, and so are car thefts. Aurora is seeing one of the largest increases while losing officers at an alarming rate. In a city still boarded up in plywood from the unrest last summer. Tonight on Denver7 News at 10, we sit down with Aurora's top cop. Chief Vanessa Wilson says they're doing everything they can to combat growing crime, but she's having to do it with fewer officers wanting to do the job. I hope you'll join us tonight on Denver7 News at 10. We'll break down the numbers and talk to city leaders who want more done. I'm Denver7 investigative reporter Jennifer KOVALESKI.
Jurors in the Mark REDWINE trial were dismissed early today for the holiday weekend. We're guessing they could really use a break. The trial has been exhaustive. Prosecutors say REDWINE murdered his 13-year-old son Dylan in 2012. REDWINE's defense says Dylan was killed by wildlife. A forensic anthropologist testified yesterday that a large fracture on Dylan's head was likely caused by a person and not by an animal as otherwise suggested.
Their eyes would go big and they would be so surprised and confused at the same time.
2 little girls are helping make vaccine distribution more equitable.
We heard one of the kids whisper, "Wow, she's better than me."
And it's not just the patients getting something out of it.
That felt really good because I was helping people.
If your plans this weekend include hiking in the high country, chances for scattered afternoon thunderstorms. But what about activities here for the Front Range? I'll have your metro forecast coming up.
And coming up later, facing Colorado's past head on.
One of the most striking lines on the census is the very first line at the top of the document. It reads, "List of Indian captives."
How an art installation is helping address the wrongs done in our state.
It's one of the very few official government documents that we have, that acknowledges that this happened.